Welcome to the Sheepless Life podcast. We are your hosts, Ivonne Delaflor
and Séverine Naessens, and we are the founders of the Sheepless Life Academy. Join us at sheeplesslife.com for a free and exclusive masterclass on sheepless living.
We created this podcast for women like you, who are ready and eager to live and lead without the herd mentality.
Women who are ready to be, not who your parents told you to be.
Not who the system expects you to be.
Not who the media wants you to be.
But who you can truly become.
So relax, step out of the herd for a moment.
Grab something to sip on and have a pencil at hand just in case you feel the urge to take some notes.
Let's get the show on the road.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever and from wherever you are tuning into this Sheepless Life podcast number 35. On this side of the microphone, Séverine Naessens, and on the other side, we have the amazing Ivonne Delaflor. Yvonne, good morning.
Hello from Las Vegas. Very sunny Las Vegas. It feels actually like spring, even though we're in winter, and a couple of days ago it snowed. Even in my terrace in Las Vegas, I received some snow, so it was really cool.
Oh, amazing. You've got snow and I've got the white sands.
Yes, right now I got the sun. And it feels more like a summery day, but it's really, really cool.
Oh, that's nice. It's always nice to get some vitamin sun on our skin to reload and to upgrade our day. And today we have a serious topic that we've chosen to speak about, and it's all about the public enemy number one. Oh. Scary stuff, if you ask me. Very interesting and an intense topic. I really like. We like to go deep. We like to go deep and go all in. And this is a really cool one. And I'm going to hand over the microphone to Yvonne because she's prepared this one for you guys. So
well, we're going to be playing clues.
Oh,
today
cool.
is a podcast where we're going to be playing clues. We're going to guess who the public enemy number one is. And I'm sure if you're a sheepless, if you have been following us for a while, actually we've been sharing this new movement idea of living the sheepless life, which is ending sheep walking. Practically stop being like sheep walking. How do you call somnambule in English, Severine?
Sleepwalking. Sleepwalking.
Sleepwalking and sheep walking. You know, it says sleepwalking is you're asleep. Sheep walking, you're asleep, but walking, believing that you are awake. So we've been sharing this. I've been sharing this message now almost 3 years?
Almost 3.
And it's still in its baby steps. But if you've been following us for a while, you know we're all about being proud of being the black sheep of the family. For the good,
yes.
not for destruction, but for empowerment and creation. And we just like to do things different so we can step outside the concept of thought, start thinking non-linear, begin to shift, clear the slate in a way, actualize our present moment, let go of the past, and release the futures into brilliancy, which are here and now. So we do things differently. So in this podcast, Seven, you can play with me.
Yes, so, I will play.
Because we need, in any game, we need like players, you know, like in life. We are all players. We just sometimes forget about it. But
and I love to play.
Number one. So number one, remember we went through three things.
Yes.
So you say the number one. So the clue number one is what?
Clue number one is the public enemy. Number one is a lot closer to you than you think.
So think about this if you're listening to the podcast right now. You probably are sleeping with him or with her. You know, it can be female or male. You probably have seen him once in a while. Maybe not every day. Or you probably have had him or her as a guest at home. Maybe it shows up on Christmas. Maybe it shows up in your family meetings. Or maybe he or she show up in the least moments that you expect them. You know, kind of the neighbor that you don't want to see.
Oh, the uncomfortable neighbor.
Sometimes it's your ex. Sometimes it's your mom. Sometimes he's very close. He's closer than you think it is. So begin to write down in a paper. If you have a paper, if you are driving, write it in the paper of your mind, in the white pages of the mind. Who do you think it could be? Or how many enemies do you think you have? Or have you had? And I know in the spiritual niche that I tend to attract, everybody says, no, everybody has been a teacher. But if for a moment you could play and pretend that there was an enemy, who will these enemies be? So begin to think a list, make your list. I have my list.
Me too.
I have my list. All right. So that's number one. Number two, which is it, Séverine?
Well, the public enemy number one comes disguised as the other, the weather, and the government.
We are kind of giving it. I think we're giving the answer almost. It uses disguises. So sometimes, for example, a neighbor comes with a basket full of fruit, welcoming you to the new neighbor. But in reality, it wants to take a peek on all the things you do, at what time you wake up. Do you have children? Do you don't? And can you take care of their children too? There's an agenda. Sometimes, things are disguised as a new romance. This promises to be the greatest marriage of my life. 10 marriages later, Byron Katie only has 8. So I base my numbers on a Byron Katie. For those of you who don't know her, Byron Katie is one of my teachers. I learned the School of the Work and Inquiry with her. So I highly recommend it. But anyways, sometimes the enemy, shows up as your friend and becomes your mentor. I'm not sure. The disguise is manifold. It's so many disguises that we could only probably have done this topic on Halloween.
Oh, yes,
that's
that would
clue
be great.
number 2. So clue number 3, I'm glad that you're having so much fun with it. Clue number 3 is?
The public enemy could become your best friend.
All right, this is where I'm going to get serious.
Yes.
So number 1, it's closer than you think. Each time, we just started a new year, so it appears. Each time you set a resolution, each time you set a goal, each time you say that you want to move forward in life, you got to do something different to be able to create a new result that you haven't had. If you want to step into 2019, for example, and you want to be more fit, and this is your year where you gain muscle and you lose weight. This is the year when you start eating healthier and you start cutting sugar. For that, you require to meet the number 1 enemy eye to eye. So the public enemy is not going to be the sugar. The public enemy is not going to be the gym, neither the new trainer that you got to hire. So I'm not going to tell you yet the public enemy, but for you to be able to achieve your results, you got to do something that you've never done of before. If you start going like the last year, the same amount of days that you used to go to the gym, you're going to get the same results that you are not comfortable or pleased with, correct?
Yes.
I mean, if you start doing, I'll eat healthy once a week like I did last year, that's not getting closer to your goals. That's getting closer to the public enemy. Number 2 in the games of clues. I don't know if I will be successful like creating the clues games for the Shipless Life, but maybe in the future, one of our sponsors, I'm just futuring here, one of our sponsors says, hey guys, I want to create the Shipless Life game. I want to create the Shipless Life thing with you. If you want to be a sponsor, send a message to Séverine. We'll give you an email after the podcast. Why not? I mean, we're playing a game. I mean, the Shipless Life is a great brand, you guys. So putting it out there. So number 2, it's disguised as the government, as the weather, or as something else. So sometimes you have a goal. And in the process of trying to achieve your goal of get more fit, of getting more romance into the schedule of you and your beloved, a public enemy shows up and the news show up and the politics tells you that the government is shut down. And I just got that news, I was trying to fix something on my taxes, which actually the IRS sent me a check.
Nice.
And little money is never little money, right? Even if it's $100, $1, money is money. And I want it. And so it was, my name was misspelled. And my accountant says to me, I'm like, hey, my name is misspelled. And he says, We can't do anything about it right now. I'm like, what? Until the government stops their shutdown. I'm like, oh, okay. So the government shuts down, the IRS stops. So the public enemy right now, it may appear that it's that. I may get pissed off. And all of that time, instead of me going to the gym or eating the healthy salad, I go get a coffee with sugar to worry about why I'm not getting that dollar back from the IRS. So it's disguised as external circumstances. And the number 3, it could become your best friend. And I'm going to tell you why. The public enemy number 1 is you. Is your old self trying to be the new self that you really don't have to be a new you. You just have to be the you that you know you can be in your upgraded form. And every time there's a blockage, there's a setback, the public enemy, your old self, showed up with its old habits, with its old patterns, with its old beliefs, blaming the government, blaming the mentor, blaming the coach, blaming the system, blaming the actions of others, not taking responsibility for the better version one requires to become of what one truly is. So our old self shows up and our comfort zone kicks in. And our comfort zone kicks in, we begin to blame, we begin to hate, we begin to disguise spirituality as justification of our righteousness. And we begin to create excuses and justifications. We label it on an external circumstance, and we don't do the work. So the public enemy number 1 is not the government, is not the system. It can become your best friend when you look eye to the old self and says, I'm still me. I still got you here. What you did in the past didn't work for us. Where we want to go requires this new version of me that I already am, this next level of me that requires deeper responsibility on my part and 10x my commitment to 10x my results. So all self, instead of becoming my enemy that starts blaming the system, the politics, the weather, and the shutdown of the government for the lack of results I have, become my best friend. Remind me where I was at and where I want to go. And every day I will take a step forward so that the public enemy number 1 becomes my best friend and I can get results. And I think that's one round of the game of clues.
That's the Cluedo of sheepless living. I think it's amazing how you've put this into a game. I just love it. We should do more of these. I love it.
Yeah, if actually the audience has favorite games, Parcheesi or something, we can always use any game, anything that is fun for you as a metaphor. So now you know it. Usually in clues, they don't tell you who is it. Was it the butler? Was it? No, it's all you. You are the butler, you are the millionaire, you are the killer, you are every single part of the game. The game is to be you all of the time, and the old version of you, if it's not giving you results, just upgrade the old version of you into the new version of you that you already are.
Amen. Absolutely.
Thank you for playing, Seven. That was super exciting. By the way, congratulations. You want to tell people what you are doing? You are offering parent talk classes, right? Parent talk classes, which helping parents get out of the sheepless parenting modality, Seven.
Absolutely.
Tell us a little bit. Since now we found out very quickly what the public enemy was, tell people what you are offering in Mexico in Spanish now, that I think is super important for people to stop walking like a sheep in their parenting life.
But one of the public enemies for moms and dads is that we have created these patterns in our parenting that come from our own parents and our own grandparents, as we have inherited these patterns and these customs. And the teachings of the parent talk system created by Chick Mormon and Thomas Heller gives us a set of 21 tools that allow us to step out of those patterns and to identify the power that our words have on our children, and not only on our children. Actually, I use this, and you too. You are also a certified parent talk teacher. We use these techniques from the system to use a powerful language with respect, with limits, putting limits for our children, healthy boundaries, and also teaching them to be responsible, but in the first place, taking responsibility of our own thoughts, our own words, and our own actions. As we are parents, we are teaching our children, and our children, they will take anything we say to them, they will take it as the absolute truth. Right? We are
yes, and so you know what? In a way, just to tie it up with the podcast game, you are offering this parent talk system for parents to empower their children, not disempower them, and literally they are going to help the future of their children. So their children, when they become adults, they become their best friend and not the public enemy of their own life.
Exactly.
Because that's what we've been doing. We've been, most of us adults, we've been creating our own blockages in our own success. We've been creating our own patterns, our own willingness to do our inner work. Sometimes, it's passed on to our children. We get triggered by our children by what we are unwilling to work. And I love, Séverine, that you are offering that in Cancun, in Mexico, that people can contact you. And, if you are interested in knowing more of the Parent Talk system, contact Séverine, Naessens, and contact us on the Shipless Life Academy too, because this is a way to end sheep walking since children are little kids. Don't train your kids to obey. Train them to thrive into the future by being their very best selves. And that's what the tools that Séverine is offering right now on the Parent Talk can help you. And we also serve in a tool called Transcendental Rebirth, both Séverine and I, which can help you if you have any issues of past traumas, of desires to revisit your past, to unleash the golden nuggets that you missed out. You can contact Séverine Naessens or myself, and we are serving all of the tools that we can to really end sheep walking in this life. We need more public friends, public friend number one instead of public enemies. So, Sebe, they can contact you, they can contact me, they can leave us messages for sheep in the Shipless Life. Our purpose in the Shipless Life Academy is really delivering tools that can help parents, women mainly. Our main service point is women, but parents, women, men, right now, there's an urgent need to end the sheep walking. There's an urgent need to stop being not only enemies of one another, but the enemy of oneself. So do whatever you can instead of complaining and blaming it on the shutdown. Stop shutdowning your mind. Do your work. If you get triggered, do something about it. Contact Séverine for the Parent Talk. Contact me or Séverine for the Transcendental Rebirthing, and join ladies, the Shipless Life. This is the future of leadership for women, and where we are public friends of humankind. I think we did it.
We did it. Well, this will be all for today, ladies and gentlemen. We will hear you next week in the next podcast. Thank you for listening, and please do share. Bye-bye.
Subscribe to this weekly podcast on iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Share your thoughts with us on Facebook.com/Sheepless Life Academy and learn firsthand how to live a sheepless life with Ivonne and receive an exclusive in-depth masterclass at sheeplesslife.com.